Hey everybody, it's Be the Scientist, and I am live on Instagram and on Facebook right now. We are going to get started in just a few minutes. If you would like to see the read-alouds that I'm going to be reading, you can head to facebook.com/Be the Scientist /live. And that's where you can see all the pictures for the stories that I'm going to be reading today. And you can also see an awesome little slideshow with all of my favorite, I don't have a favorite viewer, but the viewers that sent me in pictures and drawings, you can check that out as well. And I think Facebook can at least hear me right now. And we're going to get started. I actually love this joke that my friend Mr. Frost said. I have a joke about gravity, but if I say it, I might be grounded. Oh, that's bad. We do love our teacher jokes, though, for sure. Looks like that one was a little slow on the uptake from David, but that's all right, David. We're going to give you a pass on that one. Okay, I think that it's about time we get started. So let's turn off the slide share. Hello, everybody. Okay, now we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we've got some really awesome stories today. Our theme is gravity. She's so heavy. And we're going to talk about why when we fall down and not up. That's really weird, but maybe if we were an astronaut, we would. So today we've got two books, and I can throw them up here. We've got And Everyone Shouted Pull, as well as I Fall Down. I Fall Down is going to be where we do some of our experiments that you can explore with me. If you want to explore with me, you can collect some items from home. Suggestions include shoes, a kid's shoe and a grown-up shoe with identical rubber bands, a bathroom scale, different balls, things that probably won't break, and you're going to want to be doing this over a carpet or a pillow. So here we go. Our very first book that we're going to do today is And Everyone Yelled Pull. So I'm going to go ahead and share that screen with everybody. And we're going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, we'll put it right up here. Excellent. And I will scooch over this way. Okay. Oh, that looks fabulous. How's everyone doing today? Where is everybody watching from? I know we've got Collingswood is represented somewhere in the PA suburbs. Let's see here. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Looks like we've got some friends on Instagram as well. Okay, so let's get started. This book is super fun and silly. And it's called And Everyone Shouted Pull. And I'm using my very favorite new website called archive.org. And it's the Internet Archive. You can rent books on this like a library. There's kids' books and grown-up books, so you've got a little bit of everything. And I'm just going to bring this down here. Yeah, okay, that's better. Okay, so let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay, if we're having any technical difficulties. I should be able to keep up with the comments as well. Okay, And Everyone Shouted Pull, a first look at forces and motion. It's market day at Oak Farm. The animals are counting out the goods. 3 boxes of apples, quack, quack. 2 trays of eggs, cockle-doodle-doo. And don't forget the cheese. But how are they going to get the goods to market? I can push this. Quack, quack. Woof. I can pull this. Nay, I can carry these, Mama. Oh, no, you can't. The farmer's cart can do the job. Its wheels help move things easily. What wheels? What do wheels do, Mama? Nay, they roll around the ground nice and smoothly. I wish I had wheels. And we've got the dog and all the produce in the cart there. And if anyone on Instagram wants to see what I am acting out right now, you might have a better view just of me. But you can tune into facebook.com/BeTheScientist/live if you want to see the story. They need a push or a pull to start them turning. The cart wheels don't move by themselves. Come on, Mama, pull! I think we need some help. Pull! Whack, whack. Don't look at me. Can everyone make those animal noises at home with me? Make me feel less silly. That's all right. It's okay to feel silly. The first steps are hard work, but then the wheels begin to turn. Come on, push! Phew, that was heavy. It takes a big force to move the cart. Has anyone ever tried that before? Maybe with a wheelbarrow or a wagon, and you're trying to start everything off, and it takes a pretty good amount of effort, but once it's rolling, it's a lot easier. The cart rolls along quickly now. It won't take long to get to market. Keep up! Pulling a cart is easy. Wheels turn well on a hard, smooth road. Has anyone ever ridden on a horse-drawn carriage in Old City, Philadelphia? That is not a smooth ride. But when the cart reaches Three Trees Hill, the donkeys begin to slow down. Wait a second. They were donkeys the whole time? I thought they were horses. Well, I'm not sure what a donkey says, so if you know, put it in the comments. And it looks like we've got some more friends joining us on Instagram. Hey, Instagram. Let's see. So it says, push everybody. Why is the cart so heavy now? We have to pull harder when we're going uphill. The cart slowly reaches the top of the hill. Then it races down the other side. Help! I can't stop. Slow down. The cart, it's pushing us downhill. Oh boy, it looks like they've lost control. Suddenly, there's a sharp tug. Hey, why are you taking us down this path? We have to go this way. Look, there's a tree across the road. The cart is pulled another way. Big drops of rain begin to fall. We're not moving, Mama. Pull harder, darling. The wheels are stuck. And the pig says, everybody pull! The ground turns soft and muddy. At last, the cart arrives at the market. I'm too tired to drag the cart back home, said the donkey. The cart will be empty. It'll be easier to pull, said the mama donkey. I'll be on it, that's for sure, said the little pig. Pull! Say all the animals except the pig, who says, hey, wait for me! The market is over and it's time to go home. But the cart isn't empty after all. Looks like all of those animals jumped into the cart aside from the donkeys pulling the wagon. So we've got, oh, I don't remember seeing those. We've got a sheep, a lamb, a platypus, a duck, a rooster, a dog, and the pig trailing behind. So let's learn all about forces. Moving a load is hard work, but wheels can make it easier to move things. A force is either a push or a pull. So let me see you push the air and pull the air, just like that. We're not going to put our hands on our friends that are in quarantine with us because we're going to be respectful. We're not going to invade their bubble. It takes a force to start things moving, and like I said, a force can be a push or a pull. It takes force to make things stop. Moving uphill takes a bigger force than moving downhill, and it takes a force to make things change direction. Does anyone maybe ride a bike at home? When you need to stop, you either squeeze a brake on your handlebar or you pedal backwards to employ the brakes on a kid's bike. So you need to use some sort of force and able to stop. And look at this. Ooh, I love when a children's book has a good glossary, don't you? So this one says downhill. Downhill means down a slope. A force is a push or a pull that makes an object start moving, go faster, change direction, slow down, or stop. Pull, to tug something. Push, to move something forward in front of you. And uphill is a slope. So that is that on an everyone shouted poll, and it seems like our farmer got to the market safely and back. So I'm going to take the picture book off real quick, and I just want to show you a few examples of that before we go to our next activity. Now, I've got something that I like to use to work out at home. It's called a resistance band, and I'm using a force to pull on it. But when I release the force, it pulls my arm back up. This is an action and a reaction. Can anyone see? Am I getting more guns? My muscles growing at all? No? All right, gonna have to keep working on it, I think. So that's a great example of a force. I just want to make sure that gravity is working for everybody equally in your houses and it's not broken. So if you're at home and you're watching this, we need to test out the gravity by jumping up. Jump up in the air and tell me if anybody falls up. Okay, so I'll count to 3, you jump, and then you tell me if gravity brings you back down or if gravity brings you up. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, jump. Okay, did everyone come back down? Now, the only people who wouldn't come back down if they jumped are people up in the International Space Station orbiting the Earth. Their gravity works a little bit differently than ours. Our gravity works a little bit like this. And I'm just going to have to move some things around to show you. So here you could see the Earth, very well drawn Earth, by the way, I might add. The Earth and gravity is pushing at the Earth. So no matter where you are, when you jump up, you're going to come back down towards the Earth. When I was little, I was very confused about any penguins like by the South Pole. And if they jumped, why didn't they fall off the Earth? Well, gravity in our atmosphere helps to keep everyone right side up. So they're not really hanging upside down, but when we jump, we get pulled back down. I don't know about you, but I've always wanted to try like an anti-gravity chamber, but I get a little too seasick to do the vomit comet. Has anyone ever tried Flight Zone? That isn't quite weightlessness, but it does kind of feel like you're falling from like a skydiving. Okay, so let's see. It looks like all of our friends at home has tried our jumping experiment, and let's just check in and make sure everyone's gravity is in order. Okay, it looks like my friend Paul, he came down. David's girls also came down. Okay, good. Because I don't have the 1-800 number to call if you have like a puddle of gravity. That's too much. So, I'm not really sure what to tell you. But I think that everyone's everyone's gravity is good. All right, now I want to show you another book. This second book that we're going to read is full of different exploration and experiments that we're going to try together. So I'm going to kind of adjust things a little bit to give myself more room here, and this one should be good. And I'll keep the mouse right here. And by the way, if you like anything that you're seeing, if I am helping you to keep your kids occupied, and you feel so inclined to thank me monetarily, my PayPal and Venmo are at the bottom of the screen here. PayPal.me/BeTheScientist, or on Venmo, Brittany-Wickham. This is not required at all. I am just really happy to help all of you out at home. So let's check out our second book, I Fall Down. This book I love the illustrations on, and I was really happy when it said it was available. So let me get it a good size here. Okay, there we go. All right, so here we go. We can make this one nice and big because we're only going to be looking at one page at a time here. Okay, this book is called I Fall Down, and the cover of it is a little boy holding up a softball. Oops. And he's throwing it up. So it looks like gravity is working in my apartment already. When I throw it up, it comes right back down, hopefully in my hand. But remember, Mom always says, don't play ball in the house. So we're only going to be dropping things from where our standing height is. We're not going to be throwing them off of things because we don't want to break anything. This, by the way, game ball for the recreational adult league that I'm in. No big deal. Okay, I Fall Down by Vicki, Cobb, illustrated by Gorton. And I kind of like seeing the scanned date cards. Does anyone else remember getting these stamped in elementary school library class? The little inserts on the inside pocket. So it's kind of nostalgic. I Fall Down. This book is for you, Rally, because you fall down more than anyone that I know. But you always get up and try again until you master yet another trick on your skateboard. So that's so nice. That's a nice message there. Okay, so this is a note to the reader, and it basically said what I said: grab a bunch of objects, we're going to be experimenting and seeing how gravity affects them. Do you know what happens when you trip? I don't know, do you? When you trip over something, maybe your foot gets stuck on something, what happens? I don't know if everybody has time to type in, but I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody right now that I'm a little klutzy. I trip quite often. And when I trip, I fall down. And that's just what this baseball player did. Looks like he tripped over a rock. He's holding his glove out nice and wide, trying to catch that ball. Huh. Oops. Do you know what happens when you spill your milk? Well, I don't have milk, but in my controlled experiment area, I do have a cup and a towel. I do not advise that you do this one at home for your grown-up's sake, but I am the grown-up in my house, so I'm going to do it. So I've got a towel that I'm just going to put down, my little mess towel. And let's see if gravity works on a liquid, on water. So I'm going to go ahead and drip a little bit of water out onto the towel, and it fell right down. So it drips down. That adds up. Ooh, I can't see this one. Throw a ball up in the air, watch what happens. It goes up for a short time and then it falls down. That's a really good observation. Now, I used to talk a little bit about sports science. I know, go figure. But I learned that that shape, that upside down U shape, is called a parabola. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to get it on here, but let's see. If you can use your finger and trace where this ball is going. All right, let's see if I can do it. Can you see it? I think maybe for Facebook I'll go sideways. If my softball coach is watching, this counts as practice, right? So that upside down U is called a parabola. And the energy is the highest when it gets all the way up here. But after that, it just starts to fall down. That's when gravity starts to pull it towards the ground. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of someone called Sir Isaac Newton. I know a friend who's named after that, my friend Isaac Truskin, and he might know that Isaac Newton developed the idea of gravity. Something that really has inspired me during quarantine and the pandemic is that Isaac Newton developed his idea for gravity while in quarantine from the Black Plague. And we're in quarantine right now, so what kinds of ideas are our scientists going to come up with? Hopefully a vaccine first, but other scientists might be working on really, really cool things as well. So we saw that parabola with the softball. That was pretty cool. Try tossing other things up in the air, like your grown-ups' keys. And again, we only are going to do this if our grown-ups say we can. And I have some keys here that I'm going to try to throw up into the air, and we're going to see what happens. So something kind of cool happens with mine, and all the keys kind of fly apart. So I have 3 different thumb drives on this keychain, and I know I'm being a rebel, like throwing it in the air. But I'm going to start with them all clumped up and watch what happens. The air kind of pushes them apart, but it still does the same thing as the ball. It still makes a parabola. So is anyone trying this at home? Is this working for anyone? Let me know in the comments if you are trying anything cool that you think I should try too. Let's see. Oh, a block. I have a block. Let me see. I've got a good block that is also a little bit nostalgic here. I've got a box of things to fidget with and a Rubik's Cube. That's a perfect example of a cube. I never solved it. I could only get to the point where I can like get a plus sign, but after that. Okay, so let's see about a block. Throw it up, throw it down. Make sure you catch it because there's points on this one. And it's still coming back down. That's great. Now, after you're here and watching with me, I want you to tune into the International Space Station and watch them float around. They can even eat things on the space station, and when they toss things, they just keep going in that same direction. So that's really interesting. Okay, what else? When something falls, which way does it fall? Does it ever fall up? Can you think of anything that ever falls up? Know what makes things fall? Gravity is always pulling things. And we talked about this. There's a really great, little better picture than I drew of the Earth and different kids standing on different parts of the Earth. It's a force called gravity. As long as you are on Earth, you can't get away from it. And it looks like my friend Kira and Lainey watch the ISS a lot. That's awesome. I love watching the space station. I wish I could be up there, but like I said, a little too motion sick still for that. So I don't think that we're going to do that anytime soon. So go ahead, jump up and down again. Let's see, is it still bringing you back down to Earth? Yeah, me too. I'm going to try it like this, okay? Let's try and see what happens to gravity on my hair when I bounce it up, it goes back down. So you can see that no matter how I flip it, it keeps trying to move down. My friend said that there's a really cool time lapse today from the ISS of their space crops growing in near zero gravity. That's awesome. This is the first time that they're growing crops, I believe, up in space that are viable, and they don't know what is going to happen without gravity. So I'll have to check that out. Thank you, David. What was the last page? Gravity is always pulling things. Know which way? Down, down, down. And in this picture, my friend has a basketball. I don't have a basketball, but I do have a beach ball that I can try and bounce. So every time I put it down, it comes back up. But what would happen if I didn't catch it? Let's see. And I'll bring this down a little bit so you can see as well. Each time it bounces, it gets lower and lower and lower because it's losing energy. But the important thing here is that when I drop it, it goes down. So that's the idea that we're talking about. Okay, let's see what else. You can see how gravity pulls. Take a spoonful of molasses or honey and point the spoon down so that the goo dribbles back into the jar. Watch it drip. I didn't get this because I don't really like to get sticky and messy when I'm live, but I can pre-record something and show it to you. This one you can try later or maybe tomorrow during breakfast if you have any syrup. This is different than just water because it drips a lot more slowly. It's a lot thicker and more viscous. The goo stretches and gets longer and longer. It looks like a ribbon streaming into the jar. Gravity pulls the molasses from the spoon back into the jar. Ooh, this is an interesting question. Do some things fall faster than others? Try it and see. Hold a penny and a key in one hand. Open your hand so that they both start falling at the same time. Listen and watch as they hit the floor. Okay, so I don't have a penny and a key, but I do have two other small objects that we'll use. Let's see. I've got a guitar pick and let's see, penny and a key. So we need something that is maybe a little heavier than this. So I've got this toy truck that we can use. And how about this flower hair clip? Okay, so we've got a truck and a flower hair clip. And listen very carefully. Let's see if we can find out which one drops first. So hold a penny in one hand and hold a penny and a key in one hand. Okay, so I'm holding both items in one hand. I don't know if you could hear that, but they both dropped at the exact same time. So if you only heard one clunk, that's why. Now, this is one of the basis of those big experiments that Isaac Newton did. He tried to drop a bowling ball and a feather, or that was a study that was used for his gravity. Now, this works a little bit differently because the feather kind of gets caught up in the air and it kind of goes back and forth. It has to do with surface area, but that's a little too above our pay grade right now. So we're going to stick with just regular objects that isn't paper. Did either the penny or the key win the race, or was it a tie? Well, for us with the truck and the flower, it was a tie. Things fall so fast, it's hard to tell if there's a winner or a loser, but no matter whether the objects are big or small, it seems that it's always a tie. You can have lots of dropping races. So you can try to drop things just from right where you're sitting, like we were doing, and because I don't want to bother the people that live downstairs, I'm going to drop these on my towel, and at least it won't be like a loud clunking noise. So I can drop the guitar pick and the flower, and they both will fall. And I was worried the guitar pick would be a little too thin, but it looks like they both fall at the same rate. Gravity is pulling those objects back down to the ground. If there was no air, you would find that gravity pulls everything at the same speed. If there were no air, you would find that gravity pulls everything. Okay, so if the air didn't exist, like in the space station, they could use a banana and a feather and they would move at the same rate. But if there wasn't any air, then we wouldn't really be able to be here and do this experiment. So I don't really love that page. Let's keep going. Astronauts prove this on the moon, where there is no air. Every dropping race was a tie. Now, there's gas in space, but there's no air. Like if you tried to go into outer space, you're on the moon and you don't have a space helmet with oxygen, you would not be able to live up there. So that's kind of interesting. And it says amazing but true. Wow, gravity, who knew? Does everything land with the same force? Or do some things fall harder than others? And there's a picture of a baby and a big kid. Now, I don't know about you, but when I hear a baby's head hit the floor, it sounds a lot harder than when a toddler falls down and gets back up. That's because the baby doesn't really know how to fall. They can't catch themselves yet. Toddlers are really good, toddlers and kids are really good at putting their hands out or their legs out to catch them. But then as we get older, it seems like falling gets to be more problematic again. This doesn't have much to do with gravity as it does about how fit you are. So let's see what our friends say about it in the story. Ooh, this print's getting small. Here's a way to find out. Okay, here we go. Hey, Instagram. Oh, hey, my friend Joe's here. Okay, and my friend Jess. Okay, great. Here's a way to find out. Have someone drop a dry sponge into your hand from about a foot above, and then try a small bar of soap. Which hits your hand harder, the sponge or the soap? So you can try that out. I'm not going to get my sponge or soap out, but I think it's a really good experiment. We've got a sponge, which is heavy when it's wet, but pretty light when it's dry, and a bar of soap, which is pretty heavy. So what do you think would happen? Comment which one you think would fall harder, either the soap or the sponge below. Okay, anyone have any guesses? Let's see, nothing from Instagram yet. Maybe everyone's trying the experiment, but you can always hypothesize without trying it. Okay, so my one friend says soap might fall harder, and my other friend said that they both will fall. So, oh, that scared me. My tripod just kind of collapsed a little bit. That's all right. Okay. So this is really interesting. We've got some hypotheses that say that both will fall hard. Some guesses that say that the soap will fall harder. No one so far has said the sponge will be harder. Now, this has to do with mass. Mass is how heavy something is. So, if you jumped into your grown-up's arms and you weigh 50 pounds, it's going to be easier for your grown-up to catch you. But if I jump into your grown-up's arms and I weigh more than 50 pounds, it's going to be a lot harder to catch me because they would need to be a lot stronger. So I'm going to say that the soap is going to fall harder, meaning that you'll have more give on your hand when it drops, but they're probably going to fall at the same time. So if you drop like a cinder block and put your hand under that, and a feather and put your hand under that, it's going to be much different. Although the feather, I shouldn't use that example. Try dropping lots of things into your hand. Soon you will discover that some things hit harder than others. That's true. Like my softball is pretty heavy. Inside of the softball is wound up twine around like a tiny rubber ball in the middle. So it's pretty dense. But if we try like this squishy basketball, I can even hardly feel that. So that like doesn't really drop that hard at all. Now, hold the bar of soap in one hand and the sponge in the other. Instead of the soap and the sponge, I'm going to use the softball and the squishy basketball. Which is heavier, the basketball or the softball? Move your hands up and down to help feel the difference. So doing this kind of helps you to figure out which side is heavier. And I can feel that this is much heavier. Now what we're doing here is we're kind of trying to be a scale. If you've ever seen like at the grocery store, there's two plates like this and they kind of bounce back and forth. Or actually it would be one plate and it would measure how much force or how much mass is going down. So next time, well, you're probably not going to the grocery store anytime soon, but next time when the world reopens and you can go back out to the grocery store, try those weights, see what happens. Your hands stop the sponge and the soap from falling to the ground. So it'll stop the basketball or the softball. But you can still feel the gravity's pull on the soap and sponge when you hold them in your hands. The pull is called weight. Weight is kind of the same thing as mass. When we talk about mass, that just means that it will stay the same in outer space. Weight, I think, is specific to planet Earth. I think. You can check me on that. So these are different weights. One is heavier than the other. Okay, you can see if one object is heavier than another without letting either of them fall. Here's how. Get two rubber bands of the same size and tie one of your shoes to one rubber band and one of your grown-up shoes to the other rubber band. So I just got two of my own shoes that seem to be different, and we're going to compare them. Now, I don't have two exactly the same rubber bands, but I do have one mega rubber band that I'm going to try, and we're going to use our measuring skills to compare it. So, I have a running shoe and my silver Keds. So which one do you think is going to be lighter? The silver Keds or the running shoes? What do you think? Okay, so while you're guessing, I'm going to take my giant rubber band. I use this for my Magnus flyer. And I'm just going to loop it around. And I'm going to hold it like this, so that I looped it, and I'm not going to tie it, but I'm just going to hold the two sides like so. And then I'm going to get a ruler, and we're going to measure how far the rubber band stretches. So let's see. Here's my running shoe. I'm holding it at the very top, and let's see how many inches it goes. So it's about a foot. Oh, you know what? A better way to measure this would be with a tape measure. Okay, so in inches, this is about 22 inches it stretches my rubber band. So let's see what it does to my Keds. So again, I do the same thing, and when we do science experiments, we want to make sure that we do it the same way so that we have accurate results. All right, so now I'm holding it the same way, looped it around, and let me get my tape measure again, and let's see how far this one stretches. This one only stretches about 18 inches. So if you guess the running shoe would be heavier, you're so right. Now, this isn't exactly a scientific way to measure mass, but you can use comparative measuring. That means we compared what the running shoe did to my light Ked shoe. I like to call it my teaching shoe. The heavier shoe will stretch the rubber band more, and each rubber band acts as a scale to measure the weight. Your weight is measured of how hard you fall when you fall down. That's an interesting way to put it. I don't know if I'd put it that way, but that's true. Oops. How much do you weigh? So this is a question that we don't usually want to ask grown-ups, but I am not shy. And I think that this is a really cool chance to do some science experiments. So I have a scale here that I can use, and the scale measures weight, or like this book says, how hard I fall, or how much mass is in an object. So this is what a scale looks like. This is just a bathroom scale, and it measures how hard something pushes down. So I'm going to go ahead and put this right here, and we're going to try something out. Now let me see. How should I do this? All right, I'm going to push this back a little bit. I'm going to take my book off for a moment. Okay, and I'm going to measure myself twice. I'm going to measure myself once by myself. Then I'm going to measure myself the second time holding the ottoman. And then we can figure out exactly how much the ottoman weighs. And we'll do some comparative measuring. This is how usually vets might measure how heavy their animals are that they're studying. Hang on, I'm all wired in here. Okay, so when I stand on the scale, I get 166. Okay, so that's how much I weigh without anything. With my clothes on, that's how much I weigh. Now, I'm going to write that down so I don't forget. 166. And now we're going to measure while I'm holding my ottoman, and then we can find out how heavy that is. So now I weigh 174. Interesting. So now, in order to find the difference, we have to count up from 166 to 174. So 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. So that's 8 pounds that we just found out my ottoman is. So that's really interesting. This is another way that you can track yourself. So you can track your height and you can track your weight. Although in quarantine, many adults probably won't want to be tracking their weight because we've been doing quite a bit of snacking. I don't know about you, but I have. So, okay, let's see what else my book has to say. But you don't have to fall in order to measure yourself. A scale will tell you how hard you fall without falling at all. Oh, okay, I like that. Yay! The end. Wow, that was really fun. We didn't really try any experiments per se, but we did something more that I like to call exploration. So, exploration and observation are really, really important when we learn. Oh, I see my Instagram followers just saw backstage in my editing booth, which is a little messy right now. But anyway, that's it for today's show. We just learned a little bit about gravity. Next week, we're going to talk more about gravity and how it affects the planets, as well as other things on Earth.
So if you have any questions, feel free to post it on my Facebook page, message me on Instagram. If you were entertained at all and you would like to donate to this laid off science educator, you can Venmo Brittany-Wickham or paypal.me/bethescientist. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Oh my goodness, I almost forgot the goodbye song. Whoa, I'm out of practice. Okay, we'll sing the goodbye song and then we'll actually sign off. Here we go. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now until we meet again. So long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now until we meet again. It's been great to play and read together in the hive, but now it's time to say goodbye. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now until we meet again. Bye, everybody. Make sure you like the Facebook and Instagram.